I guess to start, what was the uncertainty like for you these last few weeks? And did it ever reach a point where you, I guess, thought that it wasn't going to work out and you weren't going to be back?
No, listen, I mean, it's the first time I've ever been through this. The uncertainty is definitely hard, but I mean, at the end of the day, for me, I was sure what I wanted. My heart's in Colorado. Denver's my home. That's where we put down our roots, and that's where I've always wanted to be. So coming down to it, I was very certain about where I wanted to be, and like I said, my heart was nowhere else. There's no place I'd rather be than in Denver and play for the Avs. So very happy that we got it done, relieved, happy, and obviously very thankful for the continued support from obviously the Kroenke family, Josh and Stan, but Joe and C-Mac as well.
Michael Spencer, CBS 4.
Hey, Gabe, as you were going through this, how much were you thinking about your legacy, so to speak, and not only what you've done in an Avs sweater, but what maybe you still have left to do in an Avs sweater?
Well, that's the thing, right? What we have left to do. And it's, I've heard the term unfinished business, and, we haven't accomplished much. It's, the ultimate goal is to win the Stanley Cup. That's what I've said from day one. And the day I got drafted is I want to, I grew up with posters of the Avs Cup winning team in 96 and 01 in my room. And that was my goal, my dream, to be in a picture wearing an Avs jersey and holding the Stanley Cup, and that is something that is always going to be the goal. And until you win the final game of the season, we're going to continue to work towards that. And I don't think when you're in the middle of your career and when you're striving towards a goal like that, you're not thinking about your legacy. You're thinking about making sure that you're in a position that puts you in a position to reach that goal. But now, obviously, with two young kids and a family, and like I said earlier, put down my roots in Denver. I also want to make sure you're in a city, in a place where you feel like you belong, and that's home. And for me, that's been Denver.
Sean Keeler, Denver Post.
Hey, Gabe. This is kind of the first off-season reckoning of some decisions in the front office. How hopeful are you that a lot of this core is going to be able to stick together to build on the goals like you talked about of winning that cup? Because Gruby's situation is next, and there are some choices that have to be made.
Yeah, listen, I have all the faith in the world in Joe and C-Mac in the front office and the team that they've obviously built and continue to build, and we obviously want to keep everybody. That's always the case. You want to keep the group together, and you want to keep working towards that goal. We understand it's a business, and sometimes you can't keep everybody, but that is the decision for Joe and C-Mac, and for us, we're going to focus on putting our best foot forward on the ice and working towards our goal, like I said.
Eric Dean, Mile High Sports.
I was actually going to ask about that, Gabe. The depth of the team is obviously taken a little bit of a hit, but how much of your decision goes into seeing guys like Cale Makar locked up long-term, and before that, Rantanen, and just keeping the core together for you?
Yeah, obviously, you're very happy to see in a guy like Cale and coming to terms on, a 6-year deal. And I said from day one when Cale came in, he's going to win a Norris within 3 years. My opinion, he should have won it this past year, but and guys like Nico and Nate and G and you can go through the list of guys that have meant so much to this team. Obviously, we're very happy to keep the guys together, and listen, it's just the beginning. We're happy to see a bunch of guys locked up for a long time, and now it's time to get to work.
Mike Chambers, Denver Post.
Hey, Gabe, congratulations on the contract. I got in this kind of late. I had some internet problems, so excuse me if you've already answered this, but you had 2 or 3 days to exclusive rights to talk to Seattle and vice versa. Can you just explain about what that experience felt like and perhaps how awkward it was?
Yeah, I mean, I had the feeling I wasn't going to be protected by the Avs, and to be honest, I think I would have done the same thing, and I would have told Joe not to protect me because that meant they could protect somebody else, and I think that's, for anybody that's involved or is knowledgeable, they would know that would be the smart play. And so obviously that left me unprotected, and I was able to speak to, or I should say my agent was able to speak to Seattle, but for me, there wasn't a whole lot there. Yeah, there were some conversations, but I felt pretty good about the position that we were in, and like I said, my goal and my hopes were the whole time that we were going to get something done, and that I was going to be back in Burgundy and Blue. That's where my home is, and that's where I want to be. So a little bit awkward, but at the end of the day, that's for us as players. That's why you have an agent, so you don't have to deal with it. You don't want to get sidetracked. You don't want to get confused. You don't want to, get too involved in things like that. So for me, it was about, trying to stay as calm as possible, and obviously looking at this from a positive outlook and hoping that things are going to get done. And even though it took until the last few minutes, it got done, and I'm very happy about it.
We'll take a couple more here for Gabe in English, and then we'll wrap up with a couple in Swedish. Stephen Wino, Associated Press.
Hey, Gabriel, congratulations. You mentioned Philip Grubauer earlier. Have you talked to Philip at all, try to convince him to come back and kind of bring the band back together?
I mean, I've talked to Gruby a little bit, but at the end of the day, he is going through his negotiations just like I was going through mine. And yeah, you're there to support your friends, and but at the end of the day, that's his decision. And yeah, I would love to have Gruby back. Believe me, he was a backbone of our team and a huge part of our success this past season. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to tell Gruby what to do. Just like he didn't try to tell me what to do or anybody else. So I'm hoping he comes back. We'll see what happens.
Last one here for Gabe in English. Scott McDonald, Colorado Hockey Now.
Hey, Gabe, you hear some stuff through the grapevine during these negotiations, and, the media likes to play it out like it was kind of a contentious, negotiation between you and the Avalanche. Did it ever get to that point? And was there any, uncertainty at all that this wouldn't get done?
I mean, like I said earlier, obviously it's negotiations, right? And for me, I was very hopeful and try to stay as optimistic as I could that it was going to get done. But at the end of the day, we were able to find common ground, and I'm super happy to get. For me, it was the most important thing was term and find, term and to be able to be here for a long time. That was my goal, and that's a dream of mine to sign another long-term deal with the Avs. And this is my home, and I feel the connection with the city and the connection to the fans and the team and obviously my teammates. That's very important to me, and that's why I wanted a long-term contract. And I'm super, like I said earlier, thankful for Joe and CMAC and believing in me, and to Stan and Josh Kroenke as well for continuously putting their belief in me and trust in me. So I'm very happy with the way it turned out, and this is where my heart is, and this is where I belong. So I'm very happy.